Hi, and welcome to The Curling Show, the podcast that brings you interviews with the sport's top athletes and the people who shape the game. I'm Dean Gemmel, and in this edition, we talked to one of the top front-end players on the ice just a couple of weeks after he was in a bit of hot water. A recent inductee into the Manitoba Sports Hall of Fame, longtime lead for Jeff Stoughton, Steve Gould. Welcome to The Curling Show.
Well, thanks for having me.
Hey, Steve, let's start with your team's last event, the Best Western Wayside in Curling Classic in Lloydminster, another event that I think needs a shorter name. But nonetheless, that's where your team broke through with a first-place finish with a semifinal win against Kevin Cooey and a victory in the final over Glenn Howard's foursome. At this point in the season, how important was that win?
Well, it's always good to start a year and have a win. We only won 2 events last year, the provincials and Bear Mountain. And obviously the goal when you go to an event is to win an event. And with such a strong field, it was really nice to pull it off and know that we still could do it.
You know, the week before, however, at the Cactus Pheasant Classic didn't go quite so well for your team, however. You lost in the quarterfinal, I guess. And then, of course, there was the much-discussed, at least online, incident in the Players' Lounge that evening. Okay, Steve, no sound bites, no editing on this show, so explain what happened.
Well, we lost a tough game to Waymadaw. They were playing good, and we had our chances, obviously. And the incident you're talking about obviously got blown up a lot more than people know. So what happened is Ryan and I had gone into the locker room, kicked what we thought was our broom bag, and there were some beer cans in there, and we broke a couple brooms, and some beer cans exploded, which in turn wrecked some rock washers as well as some heads. In the morning, we woke up and phoned the Bonspiel committee, Lawrence over there, and said, we made a mistake. Can you let us know whose brooms these were? And he said, as a matter of fact, I can. They're Greg McCauley's. We got in touch with Greg and said, we broke some brooms and, wrecked some other stuff. How do we take care of it? And they said, well, this is how you do. And so Ryan and I got the stuff sent out to them, and simple as that. It was a done deal. Bonspiel committee was happy. We were quite happy. Greg was quite happy. And obviously, you know how it gets. People blow things out of proportion. And it was obviously an unfortunate incident. And, we're moving forward from it.
Well, you put it past you last week. It's interesting to me a little bit in that it seems a lot of the people who get most fired up about this are some of the people who earlier in the early 2000s were most upset about the fact that we might have something even close to professional curlers. Now they sort of expect some sort of professional standards when you guys really aren't quite hockey player salary guys yet.
Well, obviously there's a code of conduct that has to be out there on the road and whatnot, and I think as a whole most curlers try to conduct themselves well out there, and obviously it wasn't as bad an incident as people made it out to be. But there has to be stuff in place, and you want to represent your sponsors and your family, and curling in general as a whole. You want to represent it properly, and I mean, if there's repercussions from certain things for certain actions, there should be something in place. But unfortunately, right now there is nothing in place. But I think we're moving forward to have something along the lines of. I don't know, fines or whatnot. But as far as professional athletes go, you're right. We're not paid that way, but we also are in the spotlight. So it's a bit of a wake-up call for some of us.
That's a good way to put it. A bit of a wake-up call, I guess. Maybe there is a need to know what to do in these situations, and we can look forward to that. I hope from the WCT. But how about that event in Brooks? It seemed like maybe the best curling club-based event on tour.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great event, wonderful organization, wonderful facility. From my understanding, they're working on getting a new arena. So I was talking to Lawrence, the organizer over there, and they're planning on building a new arena. So I would suspect that maybe 1 or 2 more years in the curling rink, and after that, you'll see Brooks being played in an arena in front of a full house.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly seems like they packed them in at the curling club. I think the exciting thing was it sounds like the organizers made money as well, which I think is what has to happen for events to get bigger. Yeah,
they had a great sponsorship base. They set the purse, I believe, at $75,000, and they got more than that in sponsorship, which I think shocked them as well. But it is great that events make some money and have the top teams out there. From my understanding, even the Czech presentation, they had 500 to 600 people for that, which is odd because usually Thursday, Friday you get a lot of fans out, and then the finals Sunday, people have burned the candle at both ends a little bit, and they're not out watching the final. And fortunately for Wayne and Kevin, they had I believe 500 or 600 fans there, cheering them on. So that's exciting for guys to play in front of a big crowd like that.
Hey, what do you think about the Sunday final versus what we see so often now, the Monday? I know why they do the Monday, because it saves guys time off work, except for the teams that are playing. But, gosh, I got to think we need to move to Sunday finals.
I don't really have an opinion on that either way. The only thing is if you play Monday, then everyone that's taken the day off work Monday has made some money. Right. But I don't think it matters to me, our team, whether we finish Sunday or Monday. It doesn't really make much of a difference.
Well, that's it. I think for the growth of the game, though. I mean, it's a Monday afternoon in a club. There's usually 5 people watching, right?
Yeah. Well, generally what they do is they have an 8 or 9 a.m. draw, then 1 or 2, and then the finals, 5 or 6 or 7 p.m. So right. It's still a Monday evening thing, but more people. You're right. More people do get out on the Sunday. The kids have a little less activities and whatnot, and they can sneak away and go watch a game. So. And there's also the fact that Monday morning sports pages are more likely to run weekend events. Results. Yeah, that's true. That's true. There, maybe that should be something that's brought up with the tour. The problem is, some of these events are so hard to get to and whatnot, and Bonspiel organizers, they're trying to do their best. So I ran a Bonspiel for 3 years in Brandon, and a lot of these events, obviously places like Lloyd and Brooks are a little bit different, but you end up having 4 or 5 people running an event. Sometimes they miss out on maybe which day they should start or stuff like that, and the minor details, just because they're working around the clock to try and iron out the more important things, the hotels, making sure the players are taken care of, which they very much were in Brooks as well as Lloyd. And I don't know, it's to me, if curling has to grow, we have to get more of the younger people involved for the sponsorship, or for the volunteer base. You look around and it's I played in Lloyd 10 years ago, and it's the same people volunteering from 10 years ago. So, I mean, I think all of us should look in the mirror and get out and start supporting curling, the younger generation.
Arnold Asham was on here and made a point that we don't encourage enough of our young curlers to want to be president of the curling club. We encourage them to be tour curlers, but we don't encourage them to get involved.
Yeah, which is true, because you get the old school mentality, and you just continually do things over and over again the same, and you get some young energy and some young blood, and they might have some great new ideas, and which may attract more young people to their rink. I mean, I was very fortunate. I grew up at Cinnamore Memorial, where there was always lots of action and lots of young people involved and whatnot. And I mean, you get some young people involved. I know the Deer Lodge curling rink here in Winnipeg. They got a very young executive, and they're doing some really innovative things.
And that's not to diminish the efforts of older volunteers either, because they're keeping us going right now. But you're right, we do need some new volunteers. Hey, Steve, I hate to keep going back to incidents involving you, but I've talked to both Jeff and John Morris about the 2007 Brier in Hamilton, and it's only fair that I get your take on it. From your quotes in the newspaper, you seem pretty upset about knee prints and marks on the ice, and you almost seem to be threatening bring some Ty Domi tactics to the curling ice. Then you seem to say that your comments were taken out of context. So what was the real deal?
Well, I obviously was very upset. I mean, the ice in Hamilton was a little bit soft. They had a little bit of trouble with the water. So when their team was sweeping and they were scratching the ice, and when Johnny Moe was kneeling on the ice, and that he was wrecking the ice a little bit. We're all good friends, not a big deal. And I mean, I guess I stand up for what I believe in, which sometimes gets me in a little bit of trouble. And Johnny Moe and everything is all good. We asked him to play in an event with us this year, and he declined. But no, everything's fine. It's just in the heat of the moment, in the heat of battle, and we're playing for Canadian Championship, right? So you got to lay it all out there, right? Yeah, I mean, it made for good media coverage. Anyways, John seems to be past it. He thought it was a bit of gamesmanship, but he seems to be over it now. Oh yeah, no, he's fine. I mean, we played them in the 3-4 game, and I went into Ryan's room afterwards to have a drink, and Johnny Moe was sitting in the room talking to us. And I mean, it wasn't like it took weeks or months to get over it. It was minutes. So
what about Randy Dutain though with the high kicks before the game?
Randy Dutain. I don't know. Randy gets all fired up, and he just didn't want us to have to deal with anything if anything ever did happen. So he's a good guy to have on your side, definitely.
Always bring a black belt as your alternate.
I think he's more like a yellow belt or something like that acts like a black belt.
I was just going to say that's probably it, right? He's the yellow belt who thinks he's a black belt.
That's right.
Hey, let's talk about your own on-ice performance, Steve. Not the headlines, not the stuff in the lounge or anything else. You're not a curler who, and I think you'd agree with this, I don't think you're a curler anyone looks at and says, oh, what a beautiful delivery. Yeah, you've been an integral part of Stoughton's teams for years, and you won a Hot Shots event at the Tim Hortons Brier. Do you ever feel as though you don't get the respect you deserve?
No, not really. I mean, the players I play against, my peers and whatnot, they show me the utmost respect, and I've been very fortunate over the years to have played with the best players around, the John Meads, the Gary Vandenbergs, Ryan and Rob. You got guys like Mark Olson and that. And the guys that have played with me have shown me the utmost respect, and the guys I play against, the Marcel Rocks, the Scott Baileys, guys like that, they know when I play well, they have a tough game, and as do I when I play against them. But as far as respect, no, I feel that I've definitely gotten that from most of the curlers out there.
Hey, whatever anyone might say about how you throw the rock, how you look when you throw, you're certainly, I think everybody would agree, you're one of the most powerful sweepers on tour. Give me and the listeners some insight into the art of sweeping. How much do you rely on a stopwatch? Do you do any specific workout to make yourself stronger for sweeping? And how much more effective do you think you are with the new brushes versus the ones you used just a few years ago?
Well, for me, obviously, the working out, I lift a fair amount of weights in the off season and try to get in shape, do a bit of running and whatnot. But as far as the new equipment, the performance brushes out there are outstanding. They're lighter. They're allowing people to play at a older age and not have to worry about carrying around a heavy broom. If we went back to corn brooms, you'd see a lot of guys retire. I can guarantee that. But I've just been very fortunate that I have very fast hands, and as far as timing rocks, I personally don't time. My teammates never have, but every teammate that I have played also times, so we get feedback from both ends. We get someone timing as well as someone using their eyes, so we rely a bit on both, and it's worked well for us. I mean, teams like Madaw, both guys have always timed. Teams like Furby, both guys don't time, so you can't really argue. All three of our teams have been very successful doing it three different ways.
Yeah, I mean, and you see a lot of teams that seem to use the watch early and then never use it again and throughout a game. So who times on your team?
Well, when I'm throwing, Ryan and Rob both time, actually.
Okay.
When the other guys are throwing, I don't time, and then Rob times and the Ryan times. But I've watched Jeff throw for a million years, so I have a very good read on what's usually coming out of his hand, bad or good.
No, I remember at the Olympic trials, you guys were actually watching the sensor handles, right?
We sure were, yeah. If the light turned off halfway through the Tim Hortons logo, we knew the draw weight was good, which was kind of funny. Jeff had to hit the forefoot in the semifinal against John Morris, and we were just dying for the light to turn off, and it turned off right in the zone that we needed it to, so we knew he was good. So it took a little bit of our thinking out of it, and I'm not sure every team picked up on it out there, but I know they've since changed the logos, so teams can't do that.
Oh, did they? How do you mean they changed the logos?
Just where they are positioned on the ice. So
okay.
I mean, now it's not the red light's not going off. Pardon me, the green light actually. The green light's not going off halfway through a logo anymore. So
you could still use something. You know what I thought? I thought they should maybe have the light going off at different times if they really wanted to. I mean, I thought it was brilliant what you guys did, but I thought if they wanted to stop that, they could have the light go off randomly.
Yeah, well, that's true, and I'm sure they've addressed that. But once again, it's probably a cost involved, and
right.
Nobody's got deep pockets in this curling. Well, that's for sure. I mean, the CCA is trying to do everything they can, and I'm sure that's just another cost they don't really need.
Yeah, it seems like a programmer could do it, though. Maybe, I don't know, but anyways, yeah, I thought it was brilliant when you guys did it.
Brilliant, yeah. It brought us all the way to the final. Had we not figured that out, we would have been like 3-6, I guess.
I don't quite know about that, but nonetheless. Hey, Steve, we end with a runback. I give you a topic. You give me your thoughts in 1 to 3 words.
Okay.
Jason Gunlickson's heater.
Very accurate.
That's unbelievable how hard that kid throws it.
Absolutely.
The pace of ticket sales for the Winnipeg Brier.
Slow, but ahead of schedule.
Oh, really? They are ahead of schedule?
Yeah.
Tanning beds.
Everyone needs one.
Are you still in the tanning business?
I'm still in the tanning business, yeah.
All
I've
right.
got it all. I've got a video store, I got a Dairy Queen, and I got a tanning salon. So you can get a bad tan, you can go overeat, and then watch a bad movie.
Boy, you're a retail magnet out there.
That's right.
Those are probably good businesses for a curler.
Some days.
Pat McCallum.
Oh boy. Patty Mac. What would be the best thing to say about that? I would say loud but soft at heart, I guess.
Loud was, that is sort of, I think you've nailed it there from the guys I talked to out there. Your provincial championship format.
Goofy.
Goofy. The 32 teams?
Oh, it's brutal. You know what? You can run through that thing undefeated and then lose your final game. I think Newfoundland's got the best format. If you're undefeated, the team has to beat you twice.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that is the best way to determine the best team. The problem is you don't get that winner-take-all final.
That's right. It's all for TV. I understand why they do it. The problem with our provincials is there is 32 teams now. At one time, there was 32 real good teams in the event. Now it's very watered down.
Yeah, is it on Global again this year though?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So the best thing is I have a Canadian satellite dish here, so I watch it every year. It's great.
Oh good, I'll say hi to you.
Yeah, say hi to me on the show in Short Hills, New Jersey. I'm sure I'm the only guy in Short Hills, New Jersey watching.
That's right. That's assuming I'm on TV.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you don't want to get ahead of yourself, right?
That's right.
And finally, Spirited Energy instead of Friendly Manitoba.
Very true.
You really think so? It's better as Spirited. Yeah, I don't think you guys are friendly, judging from the way these curling teams shuffle every year.
Well, thanks a lot. Believe nothing what you hear and only half what you see, right?
Right. Hey, Steve, I give everybody a chance to name their sponsors at the end of the show, so let me know who's behind you guys. I already gave Jeff a chance to do this, but now you can tell me.
Yeah, well, we got Huron Windows, we got Air Canada, we have Direct Cash, we have Cool Curling, we have the Canadian Sports Center, we have the the Tim Hortons Brier.
All right. Oh, they're sponsoring you guys?
One more sponsor that really gets us by is we got Asham Curling Supplies. They've always been a great supporter of our team. They gave us great product. And also Performance Brushes. They allow us to oversweep or undersweep our rocks.
All right, Steve. I appreciate your time and your candor about the events out in Brooks. I think it was a lot of online buzz about not much, but I'm glad you came on to talk about it.
Thanks very much, Dean. I appreciate it, and you guys are doing a great job over there.
That's Steve Gould on The Curling Show. While I know it's not a holiday for 90% of my audience, I'll wish all the Americans a happy Thanksgiving. Here's black pudding. Good with turkey.
Salt flat screaming, Jim beaming, no 2 grains of sand are alive. Sow the seed, reap the speed, angels wing on a Chinese kite.